Hi, good morning to everyone. How are you? Are you working hard at home? Good, nice. Our today's topic is reading in detail or intensive reading. The previous video class, the first unit, I explained you there are different kinds of reading. We have to adapt different kinds of reading like intensive reading, extensive reading, skimming, and scanning. These are the four strategies one has to follow for reading. Okay, love you might skimming, scanning, intensive reading, and extensive reading. The first unit, the first unit I explained you. What is scanning? Scanning is nothing but looking for a piece of information. Like when you are reading a text, if you come across unfamiliar word, what do? You open, how to meet the dictionary, consult the dictionary, and open and look for the word, the meaning of the word. Please you try to understand. Scan. It's scanning. When we go to railway station or bus stand, so we have to know the arrival and departure of the train timings and bus timings. Knowing or seeing the timings of a bus or a train known as example for scanning. What is skimming? Skimming is nothing but a brief summary. It's a brief summary. Sum up something. We have to read a text. I mean a page text. A page text will be concised, precised, and kept in mind within a paragraph or three or four sentences. Is known as is a kind of skimming. Skimming is nothing but summing up the text. Okay, what is intensive reading? So I told you that before the examinations, what the students do. Every student is very serious before the examinations and opening or taking and opening books and spend a lot of time, much of his or her time for preparing or reading text, keeping the examinations in mind. So this kind of reading is known as intensive reading. Intensive is nothing but very depth reading, in-depth reading. So it is done before the examinations. For the examinations, intensive reading is done by many of us. Okay, come to extensive reading. What is extensive reading? During the leisure time, during the vacation, on Sundays, on holidays, one must feel boring. So when we feel boring, whenever I mean our hobby, if your hobby is to read textbook, as may I think most of your hobby, as we are the educators, we are the being the students, being the teachers, our hobby is to read text. Are you good? So the reading done for entertainment is a kind of extensive. For example, non-detailed textbook. We have the two textbooks in 10th class intermediate. One is detailed textbook. Second, another one is non-detailed textbook. Detailed textbook is an example for intensive reading. Non-detailed textbook is example for example for what? Intensive and extensive reading. Please, you try to understand. Let us let us go. So, reading in detail or intensive reading. Already I told you. This is when you pay attention to every single word. What is intensive? Every single word, every single line, knowing the meaning of every single word, understanding every single word. Spend time thinking about what each individual sentence mean is example for intensive reading. Please all of you look at the slide. This is when you pay attention to every single word and spend time thinking about what each individual sentence means. Another definition. to understand a text fully. However, you have to read it a lot more carefully. This does not mean that you have to read every word or that you have to read slowly. The secret is to read effectively. Read effectively. Please you try to understand. A few strategies to improve your understanding. So how do we improve our understanding? How do we make out the text, given text? I think everybody knows what is comprehension. Every time, every year, in every standard, teachers explain you comprehension, comprehension, comprehension. So let me ask you one thing. What is comprehension? What does comprehension mean? Comprehension is nothing but comprehension is nothing. Comprehension means understand. Read how much text you understand, how much information goes into your mind, how much information you are able to store in your mind. This is known as comprehension. Comprehension is nothing but understanding, to understand. So these are the strategies. The following are the strategies one has to follow for improving understanding. The first one is visualizing. Second one is making inferences. Third one is asking relevant questions. Fourth one is making predictions and connections. These are the four strategies we have to follow to improve our understanding, the level of understanding. Please, you try to understand. Visualizing. Now we see what is meant by visualizing. Visualizing refers to our ability to create pictures in our heads based on the text. So when we are reading a text, what we do is to create the pictures of the information, the text, what we have read already. It's a kind of imagination. We have to visualize. We read our words we hear. It is one of many skills that makes reading comprehension possible. My dear students, please look at visualizing refers to our ability to create pictures in our heads based on text we read, words we hear. It is one of many skills that makes reading comprehension possible. Comprehension possible. Visualizing strengthens reading comprehension skills as you gain a more thorough understanding of a text, of the text you are reading, by consciously using the words to create mental images. Words to create mental images. Already I told what is comprehension. Comprehension is nothing but every day we read much, much text, but we are unable to keep to recollect all the sentences, all the words through which we have come across. What we do is comprehension is nothing but to make out, to understand something. Okay, see the text. By consciously using the words to create mental images. So whatever the words we have read, whatever the sentences we have come across, what we do is to create the images or images. The sentences and words will be in the form of images in our mind. So it is one of most important way to improving our understanding. Our understanding. Good. So as you gain more deliberate practice with this skill, the act of visualizing text becomes automatic. If you visualize, if you visualize as you read, you not only have richer reading, but you can recall whatever you have read for longer periods of time. Longer periods of time. So look at the example. As he walked, the waves rushed up round his legs, and he could feel the coarse sand between his toes. See, see, the words will be transferred into images. Whenever we read a text, The words and sentences will be kept in mind in the form of images. This is like image. As he walked, the waves rushed up round his legs, and he could feel the coarse sand between his toes. Between his toes. Making inferences. Making inferences. See, what is inference? See, possible inference is the body does not like vegetables. We don't like vegetables. The body does not like vegetables. Evidence. He has a plate of veggies in front of him and a scowl on his face. See, the body does not like vegetables. The body don't want vegetables, but there is a plate of, see the image, there is a plate of vegetables. And when the boy sees the vegetables in a plate before him, he is irritated. He is irritating. He is not interested to have the vegetables which are before him. Face. The students might use his or her own the students might use his or her own feelings about veggies to understand what might he might be thinking. What he might be thinking. See the example. Look at another example. In a shopping complex, we can see mother and daughter. Something is going on between them, and we can guess, seeing the faces of these two people, these two persons, we can guess what might their conversation be. See possible inference. The girl wants to buy chips, but her mom is not going to allow it. See, seeing the picture. So our guess is the girl wants to buy chips, but her mom is not going to allow to purchase chips. Evidence. The girl looks like she is hopeful her mom might let her put the chips in shopping cart. What is girl thinking? The girl is hopeful her mother might let her, permit her, put the chips in the shopping cart. But mom is holding her hand as if to say no. To say no. Mom is not interested to let her daughter to purchase chips. Say no. What is making inference? An inference is an idea. Please listen. An inference is an idea, a conclusion that is drawn from evidence. Conclusion that is drawn from evidence and reasoning. An inference is an educated guess. Inference is nothing but just seeing the pictures of two women, I mean a mother and daughter in the shopping complex. So what we have to guess something. What might be there? Okay, now what they are talking. Okay, now seeing the pictures. This is known as inference. This is known as inference. An inference is an idea or conclusion that is drawn from evidence and reasoning. An inference is an educated guess. What is inference, ma? Inference is nothing but it is a guess. It's a guess. Making an inference is a result of a process. It requires a reading text. It requires reading a text. Nothing specific, noting specific details, and then putting those details together to achieve a new understanding. New understanding. Please, you try to look at the slide and you go through the definitions. Definitions, please. I'm holding the slide for you. Making an inference is a result of a process. It requires reading a text, noting specific details, and then putting those details together to achieve a new understanding. To achieve a new understanding. Examples. My family and I have everything we need. Tickets, popcorn and candy. Everything we need inference. The family is going to movie. It's a guess, educated guess. So family, my family and I have everything we need. What they have? Tickets, popcorn and candy. Seeing tickets, popcorn and candy, we can guess and we can imagine where they are going. Where they are going. The inference is family is going to a movie. Please try to understand. If you look at the slide, definitely you can make out. Sam sat with a puzzled look on his face and then raised his hand in class. Inference, Sam has a question or is confused about something. Please, you try to understand. With these two example, one can make out, one can understand what is inference. What is inference? We all grabbed our raincoats and umbrellas. What does it mean? We all grabbed our raincoats and umbrellas. When we use the raincoats and umbrellas, when we pack raincoats and umbrellas, when we bring raincoats and umbrellas with us, if it is likely to rain, definitely we will grab raincoats and umbrellas. It is raining outside. It is raining outside. You try to understand, my dear students. The author probably wants to think that Mr. Chicken was run over by the truck. How do we know? The author gives us clues. See, old Mr. Chicken was standing. Old Mr. Chicken is name of a person, was standing by the side of the road. He heard what sounded like a big truck coming. So when he was on the road, he heard that a truck was coming I mean, very fast. He decided to cross the road anyway. So he decided to cross the road anyway. Even the truck was coming. Even the heavy truck was coming. Unfortunately, he never made it to other side. See, it is very, very important. He never made it to other side. He did not fulfill his task crossing the road. Crossing the road. What does it mean? Something happened to Mr. Chicken. Poor old Mr. Chicken. This is, see, guess, please you guess what happens. Chicken was standing by the side of the road. He heard what sounded like a big truck coming. He decided to cross the road anyway. Unfortunately, he never made it to other side. Poor old Mr. Chicken. The author probably wants to think that Mr. Chicken was run over by the truck. That Mr. Chicken was run over by the truck and he was fallen down under the truck and he was crushed under the wheels of a lorry. How do we know? The author gives clues. Mr. Chicken was standing by the side of the road. One clue. Something that sounded like a big truck was coming. Lorry was coming. Mr. Chicken decided to cross the road anyway. Even the lorry was coming. He wanted to go another side of the road. Mr. Chicken decided to cross the road anyway. Mr. Chicken never made it to other side. The author suggests that we should feel sorry for the poor old Mr. Chicken. Mr. Chicken, please you try to understand. Please you go through once again. Definitely you can make out. Please. The author never says that Mr. Chicken was run over by the truck. See, in the last slide, the author never confirmed that he was run over by the truck. But we guess, being educated, what is inference? Guess, educated guess is an inference. We have to see the clues, seeing the statement. So everyone can make out what the text is about. By truck. But we are given just enough information to think that is what happened. The author seems to wants to us to think that Mr. Chicken was run over by a truck. And we do. That's called making an inference. It is known as a making an inference. So it's also called reading between lines. It is also known as reading between the lines. So making inference is also known as reading between the lines. So making an inference means understanding something from a text that author does not tell us directly. This may be referred to as reading between the lines. It is through inference that words take on meaning and make sense. Words take on meaning and make sense. Make sense. You try to understand. Asking questions. Asking questions will provide students with a purpose for reading. What is asking questions? Will one another strategy? It is one of the strategies. Asking questions will provide students with the purpose of reading. Purpose for reading. As they read, students will seek answers to their questions for deeper meaning of the text. Deeper meaning of the text. So when the class is going on, when the conversation is going on, one has to respond to another by using questions. During the conversation, the roles of the speaker and listener frequently changes. We know that in conversation there are two roles. One is speaker and listener. A person who speaks is called a listener. A person who listens to the speaker is known as a listener. The roles of them are constantly changed. As they read, students will seek answers to their questions for deeper meaning of the text. Students can ask for a variety of reasons. So why to ask questions? Why do we ask questions? To clarify meaning. What does that word mean? Why is that happening? What I am learning? So for this to clarify meaning, questions are asked by the students. For various purposes, questions are asked. To understand the characters and events better, why did the character do that? Why did that happen? What would happen if? To understand the author's intention. Why did author write this? To make predictions. I wonder if will happen. You can affirm these questions are asked to clarify meaning, to understand the characters and events better, to understand the author's intention, to make predictions. Keeping for these reasons, questions are asked. Questions are asked. I hope you understand. Are you following me? Good. Asking questions. Thick questions. The questions make you think, and help you analyze the story for deeper understanding. Take questions, right? Why, how? Actually, these questions are formed by using why and how. So, needs evidence from the text to answer. Makes us think. Could have many answers. It have many answers. Thin questions. The questions help you clarify and fix understanding for the story. So these questions are usually formed by using where, what, when, who, which are known as WH words. Easier to answer. Answers right in text. Yes or no questions typically has one answer. Making predictions. It is important to understand the difference between inferences and predictions. Although they are relatable, they are not the same. When you predict, the guess what will happen next based on what you already know from the text, your background knowledge. When you infer, you make a guess about what is currently happening. Please, you try to understand the difference between predictions and inferences. Predictions and inferences. Holding for you, please look at the definition. It is important to understand the difference between inferences and predictions. Although they are relatable, they are not the same. When you predict, you guess what will happen next based on what you already know from the text and your background knowledge. When you infer, you make a guess about what is currently happening. For example, you see a baby crying. A sensible inference for why the baby is currently crying is that the baby is hungry or tired. While a sensible prediction is might be the might be that the child uh, of the baby will come and pick baby to soothe him. So sensible prediction might be that the baby's mother of the baby will come and pick the baby up to soothe him. Example, Lokesh and I tried to pack light, but we made sure not to forget our bathing suits and sunscreen lotion. I was not sure if I would get seasick again, so I packed some medicine just in case. Just in case. So, what do you predict is going to happen? Readers can predict what the book will be about. Readers use title and cover illustrations, seeing the cover page of a book, the illustrations of a book, and image of a book. One can knows what the book is about. It's a kind of prediction. Predict the author's purpose. Is the author trying to convince us of something? Does the author want to teach us something, etc. Predict future events in the book. Readers bases these predictions on previous events, character words and actions. Predict why an author included a specific text feature. What does it teach us? What information does it help clarify? Predict what they will learn from the text section within a text. Reader uses titles, headings, and subheadings to inform predictions. Predict what would happen next at the end of the book. Work continue. Contextual clues. Contextual clues, what are they? These are the contextual clues. As we don't have much time, please, it's the time to make it fast. Contextual clues, what are they? Context clues are bits of information from the text that, when combined with prior knowledge, allow you to decide the meaning of unknown words in the story article you are reading. When you are reading a text or magazine, when we come across unfamiliar words, knowing the meaning of unfamiliar words is a kind of contextual clues. Contextual clues. Please you see another paragraph. So contextual clues, how do they help you read new words? Textbook writers and authors include words and phrases to help their readers understand the meaning of a new or difficult words. These words, these words and phrases are built into sentences around the new or difficult word. By becoming more aware of the words around difficult word, readers can make logical guesses about the meanings of new words. Definition and contextual clues are the words what they say, stop, don't touch. The dictionary, the definition of the word you don't know is right here in the text. There are many theories, ideas about what made the ice ages happen. In this sentence, the word ideas tells us theories, different thoughts people have about something. After a time, glaciers are slowly moving rivers of ice formed over many parts of the earth. In this sentence, the words slowly moving rivers of ice tell us what glaciers are. Synonym context clues are words around a different word that mean same or nearly same as the word. After seeing the pictures of starving children, we felt compassion, pity for their suffering. In this sentence, the word pity tells us compassion, means to have understanding for. Mary admonished her students and they knew they were on hot water for their actions. In this sentence, the words in hot water tells that the admonished means continued or scolded. Joe was reluctant to take the job of captain of the team. He was afraid that the time it would take it would it would take would hurt his grades. On the other hand, Billy was eager for the chance to be the team captain. In the sentence, the words on the other hand and eager tell us Billy feels the opposite of Joe. Therefore, reluctant means uncertain. Textual clues practice. These are the textual clues. I overslept. Please you read the letter, kind of letter. I overslept this morning. I had to eat my bowl of proof, uh, proof, proof very quickly. But I almost missed the tram jam. When I got to school, I realized I had forgotten my gilping. Luckily, Miss Judgy is very Jewish and told me I could bring it tomorrow. After school, some friends and played Pling Ming. It's a new game. I am learning we scored 7 points. They only scored 5 points. So we are jointers. Daddy says that the next weekend we are going to Florida. I can't wait. I love to swim and play in the sand. I hope I don't get a sunburn though. So well, I better go to bed soon. I don't want to take up late again to bed. Tram jam. Review, visualization, asking questions, making inferences, use contextual clues, making connections, etc. So I hope you understand. Please, I have been asking you after every video. Please go through the textbook, open your textbook and go through it. If any one of you have any doubt, please you contact. Numbers are given. Please